So last week, this story broke. Glenn Beck had it on his show. Didn't hear it anywhere else. Should have gotten a lot more attention. New York State decides to get involved in summer camps. Summer camps that have been going on for hundreds of years. And how many of us had friends or relatives die at summer camp? Well, none of us. Or get drastically injured? Well, none of us. But New York State wanted to get involved in summer camps and put out a list of what they deemed risky recreational activities that summer camps could no longer participate in. Kids no longer allowed to participate in games like freeze tag, for crying out loud. Freeze tag? Do you know how to play freeze tag?
Do they play it differently in New York? In New York is freeze tag where you like tag somebody and you shut them in a deep freeze with the meat for 12 hours?
No, it's just regular freeze tag. Wiffle ball, the great dangerous sport of wiffle ball.
God.
Dodgeball, which I'm not for banning, but I mean, you can't throw dodgeball in with freeze tag in terms of danger.
Oh, sure you can. Dodgeball's easy.
Yeah, but everybody does get hurt playing dodgeball.
Hurt.
That's fine. I'm all
little
for having
bruise. You learn a lesson about life.
Yeah, but freeze tag and wiffle ball, nobody gets hurt ever.
I've never even heard of it.
I mean, that's like outlawing playing cards because it's dangerous.
Well, it's not even worth entertaining the question. Is there no limit to what you lefty nannies are willing to eliminate in the name of safety? You know what?
Tug of war, frisbee, capture the flag, pretty much any game you can think of that you played as a kid, they put on the list of risky recreational activities. If you wanted to have these at your summer camp, you needed to get a permit, that is, have the government permit you to run your summer camp and spend however many hundreds of dollars to get the permit and blah, 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 blah. Of course, it's not mentioned anywhere, and I haven't found anywhere that anybody's been hurt.
Nobody's even asked the question.
And so a bunch of people get together, and I don't know who you people are. You're the same people at schools that send a little kid home because he's got a dangerous T-shirt on or something. I don't know.
Won't let a kid bring his own lunch.
I don't know who you people are, but a bunch of New York officials got together and said, yeah, we do need to do this. We need to outlaw freeze tag because it's too dangerous. And the outcry, thank God, has been enough over the last week or whatever that they've now backed off and said they're going to rethink their policy of outlawing freeze tag and wiffle ball. But that's only because it got attention and people started screaming and yelling about it.
You know, speaking of the poor young youth minister,
yeah,
I think this is all about there's a certain personality type who can't come to terms with mortality and wants to keep everybody perfectly safe. They feel like they're canceling death. It's a psychosis. It's a sickness.
I've got a little more on this coming up, and your comment at 1-866-331-TALK, 1-866-331-TALK. It's, oh my God. There are so many, in a story like this, there are so many things that would lead you to believe we're doomed as a species. Well, at least as Americans.
Yeah.
Other countries will be fine. They're they're tough enough to play wiffle ball. Stay here. You're listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show. This is the Armstrong and Getty Show. So the New York State Health Department created a list of what they deemed risky recreational activities, sent them out to summer camp programs around the state, and said unless the camp shelled out extra funds to be reorganized in as official state summer camp, they could not play games such as wiffle ball, kickball, freeze tag, tug of war, capture the flag, etc., etc.
So this is the unnatural and unholy offspring of nanny laws plus government need to permit us to do things plus a cash grab. So it's a horrifying beast. It shouldn't be alive.
I assume that once you're an official state summer camp, you either get guidelines for all these games that you're supposed to play.
Oh, lovely.
Or you probably have to go to some sort of seminar or orientation program at taxpayer expense to learn how to properly conduct a freeze tag game, even though kids for probably since the dawn of time have been making up the rules on their own as they go along.
We're not a tough enough society to play wiffle ball anymore.
Right. Several texts from people saying, my kids aren't allowed to play any chasing games at their school.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's practically universal now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another text. My son is only allowed to play shadow tag, where they don't ever actually touch each other.
Wow. What have we let happen?
And this is one of those things that I'm always mentioning that nobody is for. Nobody.
Well,
I mean, you'd get a good 90% of people that would agree you can't be banning freeze tag.
Right, but the people who are in favor of this, with their earnestness and their just trying to keep kids safe, they get this stuff shoved through somehow.
How do they end up in these positions?
We end up with a world where the government permits you to live your life.
Is that where we regular, normal Americans are making our mistake, is we don't get involved enough at high enough levels? Because how do they end up in these jobs? If I was in a meeting and somehow I'm on the New York State Health Department group of people that make these decisions for summer camps,
right,
and somebody brought this up, I'd slap my hand and say, are you crazy? You're going to tell summer camps that they can't play freeze tag. Are you insane? But nobody ever says that, apparently. They all just say, yeah, you're right. It's very dangerous. Perhaps if they all paid $250 and we wrote out some guidelines or had an orientation camp so they could safely play freeze tag.
Or maybe just shadow tag. Jack, contemporary accounts of the aftermath of the Battle of Gettysburg make mention of the fact that there was a line of wagons 17 miles long, bearing the wounded, both Union and Confederate. And according to this account, from virtually every wagon issued forth the cry of, "Oh God, please let me die. Will no one have mercy and kill me? Please put me by the road and let me die." And now we're too soft to play wiffle ball. Seriously. Honestly. It's as if you came home and I don't even know what to describe. You found your wife sawing off her own leg. Where do you begin the discussion of how crazy that is? How can she possibly have gotten that crazy without you knowing it?
The lawmakers in Albany, that's the capital of New York, we argued about that recently. Albany, New York, identified these activities that posed a significant risk of injury. And on the list, of course, made wiffle ball and freeze tag. Significant risk of injury.
See, there it is.
How big a puss are you?
You know what? That is a question that needs to be asked. How big a puss are you? You know, it's my boss who helped really cure me of the fear of flying way back in the day, said, Joe, life is a fatal disease. Nobody survives. And I swear to God, these nanny law people are trying to deny that. They're trying to outvote mortality with this stuff. Or, like I said before, it's like God dang it. We're at Mount Vernon, and my kids and I found out George Washington was one of the first people to advocate mules.
I thought that's where
horses and donkeys.
I thought that's where Vern was born. You know what I mean, Vern? That's not Mount Vernon?
No,
I'm completely confused.
It's George Washington's estate there on the banks of the Potomac. And by the way, standing there on his back porch, looking at the river go by, now I understand why he wanted to retire so bad and wanted to quit fighting and or being president. What a cool house. Anyway.
Well, if you have slaves to keep it clean for you.
Well, and I wish I did. But anyway, so where was I? Oh, he was like one of the first guys to make mules. You breed a horse, Mr. Horse with Mrs. Donkey? No, it's Mr. Donkey with Mrs. Horse, and you end up with a mule. He was one of the leaders in that.
If you do it the other way around, you have forget the name for that. I'll come up with it. I'll think of it.
Liger. No, that's a lion and a tiger. Oh, by the way, also there was so many buildings on his estate, and Delaney calls me over to one. It's just like a shed thing. I said, honey, I really want to go to the term. She says, no, Daddy, come look at this one. And I go over there. It's George Washington's dung depository. And it's so labeled. That's where he had the animal dung put for composting.
Oh, not his own dung.
No, yes.
Not Martha's dung.
They composted. Oh, God. Dude, she was hot as a young woman, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, yes, they composted their own dung, too.
So they're hippies.
Well, yeah, but he was a leader in dung composting and mules. I had a point. What were we talking about?
Banning wiffle ball?
Banning wiffle ball, George Washington, postponing death, nanny laws. Wait, it'll come to me.
Breeding mules and horses.
Dung, mules, slaves.
Well, donkey and horse is a mule. But, what is the other way around? I can't.
Jenny.
Yeah,
Or
that's
is that
right.
a girl mule?
No, I think that's right.
A Jenny?
Nah, you
No.
could be right.
Yeah. I was building up to a great point. God, I had a good point.
Okay, well, I've got the list of all the activities that they put on the could cause significant risk of injury list that then were banned from summer camp.
Oh, I was making the point about how it was the cruel and unnatural beast, the coming together of all those different forces, this ruling. And it's despicable in several different ways. Go on, sir. My apologies.
Here's the list of dangerous activities.
George Washington freed his slaves, by the way.
Wiffle ball, track and field, tennis, tag, all varieties.
Did you say tennis?
Oh, there's more. Steal the bacon, which I actually haven't played.
Oh, boy.
If you steal my bacon, you're going to get an injury.
You're going to get shot.
You'll get a significant injury. Keep your hand off my bacon.
Take your hand, press it in the band. And what you get?
For stealing my bacon. Soccer, rock climbing,
Steal the bacon. Do they mention hide the salami?
riflery.
Which is a rather legendary part of some summer camp.
But some of these are dangerous, like riflery. But I went to a summer camp where we had riflery, archery, and those sorts of things. Nobody got hurt. Somehow, magically, nobody got hurt. It worked itself out somehow. I don't know how, but it did. We canoed. I mean, things that you could actually get hurt doing, but they worked themselves out. Red Rover, paintball war games, martial arts, lacrosse, kickball, horseback riding, golf.
Kickball.
Significant risk of injury, golf, flag football, crab soccer.
I've known a couple of people who've gotten seriously injured playing golf, and both of them were seriously drunk.
Right. That's true. The only people I've known who got injured were seriously drunk.
And wielding a golf cart erratically.
Crab soccer. Is that where you're on your back and your legs and you...
Yeah. Oh,
Is that it?
You need a government permit to play that. You have to ask oh my God! George Washington, I'm surprised I didn't hear the whirling in his grave.
It takes the exciting game
Holy
of soccer
crap.
and eliminates some of the scoring.
Use a crab as a soccer ball. It's hilarious.
Eliminate some of the score. You kick crabs? Crab kicker. That's sick.
Capture the flag, boating, basketball, baseball, and softball, and archery.
Seriously.
All deemed...
What can we do? How can we fight this?
I don't know.
How can we come together
I
and
really don't
march or chant or pass laws or repeal laws? Seriously, whenever you hear this crap, please, brothers and sisters, we need to rise up and call it what it is, stupidity. How big a puss are you?
I wish I had the time and money and, energy to follow up on this. I'd like to go meet everybody on the New York State Health Department staff, everybody that voted for this. Interview them all individually. Find out what kind of people they are. Find out how they got elected. Find out how come there's not anybody in the room that would raise their hand and say, we're going to ban wiffle ball because it's too dangerous. Really?
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That is
Anybody who votes for this ought to be embarrassed.
This is the single stupidest thing I've ever heard. Nobody says that?
God dang it, we need to before we're just such meal calves we can't even walk.
You're listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show.
The country is going straight into the dumper.